Hey guys, what's up? I will give you a hint. It is the sky. Today we are going to be using 1.18 generation on a 1.17 server. Some reasons you might want to do this is the 1.18 generation is super cool. If you haven't seen it now, I would highly recommend checking out Il Mango's video. He shows the new world generation in detail. And you might want to use a 1.17 server because 1.18 is super unoptimized. As you'll see later in the video, it's one headache after another. And so we're actually going to be using a little trick that I've developed to using a 1.18 generation on a 1.17 server. All right, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is get the coffee table, or some people like to call it the Java platform. And you're going to go to this link. I'll have all the links in the video description. And since you're on Windows like me, you would use the Windows installed right there. I already have it installed, so I'm just going to close that out. Next thing you're going to want to get is you're going to go to this fabricmc.net, click the download here, and get the universal jar. I'm going to just throw that on my desktop and open that up. What you're going to want to do is click Server, Show Snapshots. Do 1.18 Snapshot 2 so we can get the cool new world generation, and install. It'll have the new fabric right there, and this download server jar isn't going to work, so you're actually going to have to go get it yourself. Pull that up real quick. I always go to the fandom page, easiest place. I'll have the link in the video description. Click the server right there. Just place the server jar in the same place that you installed Fabric to. That's all great. And so now we're going to have this Fabric server launch. Now, instead of double clicking it, the 1.18 server is super laggy. And so I'm going to recommend actually just changing just doing it in the terminal. So I'm going to CD to where I put it. Now you could just use the double click GUI if you really wanted to, but I'd rather not. We're going to launch that up real quick. That's going to launch, but of course it's going to crash in a bit because we haven't done the EU. Yep, there we go. Open up this text file, change the false to true, and start it up again. And as you can see, 1.18 is super duper unoptimized, and so this takes actually a very long time, but it's done. And now I'm just gonna open up in a 1.18 client so that I can actually show you guys. So what you're gonna have to do is if the server's running on the same one, let's do 127. There we go. You can see the server says I joined, and you can see let's find some good examples of the brand new terrain. Yeah, this is definitely new. Again, I would highly recommend Il Mango's video so that way you can see the new differences between the different versions. It's really cool. Yep. Going down under, let's see if we can find some lush caves. Boy, this is not a very good spawn as far as the new features go. Oh, here we go. This is a nice new lush cave here. They do have these in the new data pack, but what 1.18 did was change how they generate a ton and actually make them a lot bigger. Wish I could find a better example than this. Oh yes, this is an example of the new cave generation where it's just so big like this, and you can see if you press F3 right here, like in the biomes, you can see that yes, these are the brand new 3D biomes where down here I'm in one biome, but as I go back up to the surface, I'm in a completely different biome, which is pretty cool. So this is most definitely 1.18 terrain generation. And yeah, like these new meadows are brand new to 1.18, these hilly meadows like this. So yeah, we're going to be able to use this brand new generation in 1.17. Super exciting stuff. Ah, yes, here we are. The giant snowy mountains. All right, now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we're just going to disconnect. We're going to stop the server. And then what we're actually going to do now is implement our little trick. I'll just minimize Minecraft. Actually, we can close it. We're not going to come back to that. And what we're going to do next is you're going to have to go download the Fabric API here, go down to 1.18 experimental snapshot, and download that. It's going to start a second. And you're going to put that right into your mods folder. So I have mine on the desktop. Save it right there. Bam. Close that out. We're not going to need that again. And then what we're actually going to have to do next is use a chunk generator. Now I found this really cool one from Supercoder7979, but the problem, as you can see here, is it hasn't been updated since 1.17. And so I went and rebuilt it myself for the brand new 1.18 snapshots. So I'll link that file down in the video description, my own build. You can see my changes on my GitHub fork if you're interested on what the differences are. But right here, throw that in the mods folder. Fire the server up. And now I would still use PowerShell because 1.18 is super laggy trying to use the GUI. And now that we have that done, we're actually going to have to do a bit of math here. So pull out a calculator. And what you're going to have to figure out is how far you think that your players are going to travel. Let's say you think that they're going to travel 10,000 blocks. So we're going to put 10,000 and we're going to divide that by 32 because a chunk is 32 blocks long. And as you can see, that's 312. And because we want to consider the radius, we're going to actually put that up to like 314, 315. So if you were planning on doing a 10,000 block world border, you can do that. But if you wanted more like 100,000, you'd do the calculations, 100,000 divided by 32. But for the sake of this video, I'm only going to generate a few chunks just so that you can see the process. So what we're going to do is weekend start, and then you're going to put in that number right there. So like 315. But for the sake of this video, I'm only going to do 20 because as you can see, it'll still take quite a while. Generating 1,600 chunks is quite the process. If you want to see how far it is, just do pre-gen status, and you can see that we're like 35% of the way there already, just from my blabbing, and so this won't take too long. Perfect. And now that that's done, we're going to stop the server and be done with that for now. Close that up. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take the world, take the EUA, so you don't have to sign that again, and get rid of everything else. What's it using? I have no idea what's using that. Okay. And keep the server properties if you really want to. All the rest of this away. Keep the fabric installer because we're going to need it in a second here. if you plan on using a 1.17 Fabric server. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to this GitHub page right here, jquadro NBT Explorer, and we're going to download it for Windows. There's different versions. You can use whatever Explorer you want. This is just the one that I like to use since I'm on Windows. They do have Linux versions, just takes a bit of effort, and at that point you might as well just use like an online one. All right, perfect. Now we have that. What we're going to do is we're going to actually open the inside the world. There's this level.dat. Open that up. And now in version, we're just going to get rid of that CC preview, change snapshot to 0, change this to 1.17.1. There's no enter. And we're going to change this to I'm going to change it to 2730. Now that that's already, press save on that, and that way our world won't get destroyed. And now what we're actually going to have to do is we're actually going to go get the old 1.17 data pack here. Download that inside world, inside data pack, save it right there. Perfect. We don't need that anymore. And we should be good to start up the server. If you want, you can take this world file and you can actually use it as like a single player world. If you want to like put it directly inside your Minecraft saves, you can use some sort of spigot tool to convert it to a spigot world. But I'm just going to use a 1.17 right here. I prefer the Fabric server, so that's what we're going to do. This will actually work because it's a public jar. Done. And this one, I'll just use the GUI because 1.17 actually functions properly. All right, while that boots up, I'll just load my 1.17 client up. Yeah. And here we go. If this looks familiar, this is the exact same world that we generated in 1.18, and because we use that pre-generation tool, it'll still stick around, and the data pack makes it so that the server can understand the extended world height. But now we have the brand new 1.18 world generation. Remember, go check out Ilmango's video on the differences between the 1.17's like data pack and these new updates. It's super cool. This was a super easy process. And thank you guys for watching. If you liked this, make sure to give it a like. And if you didn't like it anyway. And I'll see you around.